Instead of 10 tips, we have 12, kind of a big deal. We had a lot of great stuff, and I didn't want to cut it down, so we found ways to just pile it in. So this should be really, I think it'll be a really, really good session. So super quick intros. So Greg Siegel is the president of OnePica, one of our Gold Solutions partners. Ed Hoffman and Richard Sexton down at the end are, so Ed runs sales and business development for SLI Systems, one of our Gold Industry partners. And Richard is the president of California Rustica, which is, oh, I'm sorry, Carolina Rustica. I'm from California. Which is, and they are both a Magento and an SLI merchant. And Yuri Fox is the president of Pixify, one of our solutions partners. And so that's as much as I want to do for introductions. I'll let Greg take it away here.
How's it going? I'm Greg Siegel, president of OnePica. We're a digital commerce agency based in Boston, Massachusetts. We've been working with Magento since it was basically the little engine that could. Just a little platform back in 2008, pre-beta, and basically, obviously, you see where it is today. So we've worked on some of the largest implementations of Magento. We've also worked with merchants that have started with nothing and literally zero and basically took them to multiple millions. From our perspective, the merchants that we really like to work with are ones that are very strategically aligned for growth, really understanding what their opportunities are for commerce in all the different commerce models. And from my perspective, when I was thinking about what tips to walk you guys through, it was all about growth, all about thinking, what are some of the things that people are doing on a day-to-day basis, some of them that seem very obvious, but actually that you can be doing much better, and different ways of actually thinking about each one of those tips. So number one was speeding up your website. If you do a poll, and one of the polls that was actually just released was that about 75% of the IR 500 had speed of their website as one of the top things that they're actually focusing in on in 2013. It's amazing that the stigma that Magento has had over the past few years is all about performance, and that there's been problems with performance. If you saw the keynote yesterday, you would have seen that 1.13 is all about enhancing performance, making sure that scalability is obviously huge in the product roadmap. It's all about supporting the merchants. But there's also many, many things that you can be doing as merchants yourself to basically increase the speed and the performance of your websites. One of the stats that I found was that for every second delay that you have added to your website, it's about a 7% loss in conversion rate. And that's pretty crazy. If you take a website that's doing $100,000 a day, and it would end up being about $2.5 million of lost revenue. Even if you're a smaller merchant, move the decimal place over 1 or 2 points. It's still a lot of money that you're leaving on the table, and you should really be focusing in on speed. It's the number one thing we're thinking about with any one of our clients right now, and it's one of the easiest things you can do to just increase your revenue. Some of the techniques, Magento Enterprise, we use it exclusively. The caching that's built into Magento Enterprise is really well done, but you have to be thinking even more than just what Magento Enterprise caching has out of the box. There's many different techniques you can use. Some of our developers will really be thinking about things, everything down to caching pricing, for example. You don't think about it, but that's really a code level change, and those are things that you have to be thinking about with your partners and your developers as to how to really increase that overall performance. Number two, which is MySQL optimization. So database optimization, faster databases, obviously the faster your overall performance is, as well as the data that's actually residing in there as well. Three, which is media optimization. So if you look at the source of many of the Magento sites that are out there right now, you'll look and you'll see there's probably 15 to 20 files that are actually called. CSS files, JavaScript files. There's many different ways that you can actually consolidate those all down into one file. It decreases the amount of calls to the website, and it'll obviously increase the speed of your website. And then one of the things that we've found, especially over the last couple of years, is that the attribution of your products is one of the easiest ways for you to be thinking about increasing the performance of your website. So some of you might be thinking about your products, and you'll have one option that has 2,000 options for color, for example. The less options you have, the faster your website's going to be for each one of those attributes. And there's many, many strategies around that, and again, we can talk about that later on. So we use a lot of different hosting providers and also CDNs, so content distribution networks. There's a plethora of hosting providers that are here. We use Pier 1 and Rackspace a lot. We love those guys. They have teams that are devoted to Magento and the performance of Magento, and work very closely with our developers to help increase the performance of our client sites. There's also CDNs like CloudFront, which many of you probably use. Rackspace has their own, Pier 1 has their own CDN, and there's many others that are out there. And then one of our favorite new companies that have joined up is Yoda. We're based in Boston. They're based in Boston, so I'll give them a shout out. And they are a solution that's basically trying to do an all-in-one thing where they're basically taking your pages and making them fully static-based calls and static-based content that's actually being pushed to the end site, pushing all of your media automatically to CDNs and making that a very easy process for you there too. Some tools, just so you guys can jot these down. There's free tools that are out there. Webpagetest.org is one of the tools. Another one Google gives away for free, which is PageSpeed Online. It's a plugin into Chrome and also Firefox, and you can use it to basically track and see what elements on your page are actually taking longer for you to be able to load. And then thinking about mobile, it's very important, especially as responsive design becomes more and more prevalent, that you think about what assets and what files and what code is actually being pushed to the end consumer, because that's a very, very important thing when it comes down to speed. You want this page to load as fast as possible, and obviously for what the main action that you're trying to get people to take as well. Number two, I'm sure all of you track conversion rate. I'm sure all of you track average order value. If you think about revenue, it's really a proportional element between conversion rate and the average order value. The more conversion rate, or the higher conversion rate you have, obviously the more revenue you're driving, and the more average order value that you have, obviously the more you're selling your products for, and the more that you actually sell and have higher conversion rate, and the more average order value you have, obviously more revenue is driven in between there. But one of the things that you can realize here is that it's very easy for a lot of our merchants, and when we're thinking strategically, how do we increase the conversion rate for our clients, you can increase the conversion rate very easily on your website. You can basically slash your prices in half and give away your products basically for free, but that's going to lose revenue. The same thing is, the inverse is true also with when you're thinking about the average order value. You can take a $50 item and make it $100. You could probably sell one of those, and your conversion rate is going to be obviously through dropping, but it's going to look like your average order value is obviously a lot higher. So revenue per visitor is the attribute that we use, or the metric that we use when we're thinking about the overall health and the growth of a website. And it's always the multiplication of the conversion rate times the average order value. You multiply those two together, and it'll give you how much revenue is each one of your visitors coming to your site bringing in. Very important. Number three, you heard Jules from Daily Grommet talk about this yesterday. If you guys were in the keynote and the panel yesterday, it's all about video. Actually I'll ask here, how many of you use video on your websites? All right, so a good deal. And obviously I don't remember what the number was of merchants. So one of the staggering stats that we found, and this is over the last year, was that 68% of retailers don't use video on their websites. Obviously you guys, a decent amount of you do, but there's many ways to actually do it better. From our perspective, there's content, user-generated content videos that are there. You have product 360s that you can do. You have how-tos, and there's very many ways that you can be tying those directly to the products that you're selling on Magento itself. So one of the case studies that we found here that was also very pertinent was Zappos. And obviously in the past, it's always been big brands that have big budgets to be able to provide video to the end consumers and obviously put on your websites. But many of these new tools that I'll talk about in a second allow you to do very automated video productions on your website. So Zappos had an interesting case study. 60,000 videos, 30,000 of those were actually indexed on Google. 21,000 keywords were actually taken by a company that did this study, and they ran those through all the searches. When they actually were searching for Zappos videos, 8.1% of the videos, they came up between 1 and 4 on that page in Google. If you look and you'll see those videos that are on there. What that did is it generated 77,000 additional visits to the website. And if you take their, the conversion rate and the average order value that Zappos has, and obviously video increases that, it ended up coming out to about $551,000 in additional revenue per month that they're doing. Again, smaller merchants, move the decimal place over 1 or 2 spots, and it's still a lot of money, especially for doing things with video. Look at some of these partners, Triopodia, Animoto. They allow you to do automated video, so taking the pictures and building a story for you, and basically allowing you to have automatic videos that are put on every one of the product pages. And the conversion rate and the lift on that is insanely amazing. And so you should talk to some of the partners. I know there's a couple out in the marketplace as well. Very important. Last thing, again, seems pretty obvious, but is adding shipping and payment options. Many of our clients that have come to us, become very complacent with shipping options that they're offering and also payment options that they're offering. It's one of the fastest and easiest ways for you to get more conversion. You obviously see the stat here. I'm not trying to suck up to eBay here, but for PayPal, one of our clients, we ended up putting PayPal as a PayPal Express checkout on their website, and it ended up doing a 30% increase in conversion on their website. just by doing that alone. And it took very, very little effort for us to do that, and it was amazing. The other thing, if you notice with some of these payment options, is that you have Authorize.net, CyberSource, PayPal. You can do what's called tokenized credit cards, where you're actually storing the credit cards. It's a PCI compliant way of doing that. Allows you to do reordering very easily. It's really good for B2B, B2C, and also really good if you're tying that into your customer service, so that when the customer service people are called up, that they have the credit card already on file for those customers, and they can actually help them through the process. Also, you can start thinking about internationalization. So when you're doing that, you can be thinking about international payment processing, like Alipay, for example, and you can also be thinking about shipping logistics. So a cool company, two cool companies I'll mention, I had one on here, but I have another one as well, is called 51. So many merchants here are probably shipping just in the US, maybe just in the US and Canada. What companies like 51 and Border Jump is another one, so Jay, who might be in the room as well, is running Border Jump. Both of them actually allow you to ship and basically act as a proxy where you can take your products, ship it to their warehouse. They take care of all the logistics, all the customs, all the taxation, and basically everything, and allow you to basically have all your products shipped all around the world in virtually no effort whatsoever, tied directly into Magento. So my time's up. I got my cues. So anyway, I'd be happy to talk with anybody else after this or at booth number 3, and happy to pass it over to Ed.
Thank you. I'm Ed Hoffman. I'm with SLI Systems.
Richard Sexton, President of Carolina Rustica.
And we're going to talk about 10 tips, or maybe 4 tips on our part, to boost your business. Some real lessons from a real merchant. And with that, just give a quick overview. SLI Systems provides site search because if people can't find it, they can't buy it. So we're really specialized in making sure that the visitors to your site can find what they're looking for. We've been working with Magento for about 5 years. We probably provided search for some of those early customers. Tell us a little bit about Carolina Rustica.
Sure, so we were established in 2000. We've been with SLI for about 7 years through 4 platform changes and 1 ownership change. Last year we were bought by Mattress USA, and we are on Magento and very happy to be there.
Very good. So one of the things that has happened with the audience of web users is that web search influences people's expectations. They use Google and Yahoo and Bing every day, and they basically find what they're looking for. Those web search engines work well and delight visitors. And when they get to your site, they expect the same kind of experience. They're also seeing that the web search engines are continuing to evolve and add additional functionality, becoming answer engines instead of just search engines. You've really seen that, especially with Google and Bing, where they're giving more and more answers on the right-hand side. I think that other search engines, like Facebook is a people search engine and iTunes is a music search engine or an app search engine, those specialized experiences are things that consumers interact with every day, whereas they're only on your site, once a week or once a month or maybe once in a blue moon. So if your finding experience on your site doesn't match or at least take advantage of the trends in consumer behavior, you're missing an opportunity. So these web search engines that people are interacting with really drive expectations when they get to your website. We've found over time that people, in many cases, search first when they get to a website. If you look at heat mapping studies, that search box is one of the hottest areas of the site consistently. Most people put it in the upper right-hand corner. Richard's chosen to put it in the upper left-hand corner, as we'll see in a second. But people want to find what they're looking for, and they want to find it without being distracted. How many of you, when you're shopping, search first versus following navigation and homepage? So good, got some searchers. I would say that the site search page is one of the most important pages on your site. We've seen as many as 43% of visitors using the search box during the course of considered purchase cycle. That data is backed up by Marketing Sherpa and Nielsen Norman Group. You can see references to that on useit.com. People who search on a site are at least 3 times more likely to convert, typically, and that isn't that searching causes them to convert, it's that the later in the buying cycle they are, the more likely they are to turn to the search box. When they're exploring in the early stages, they're far more likely to follow navigation, but when it's time to sell or when it's time to buy, people really turn to that search box. So it's important to make sure that search works well. That's what we're here for. Tell us about
Sure.
the experience here.
Okay, so we've got about 50,000 products. We're a high-end furniture and lighting operation with a retail store, but a huge variety of products crossing a lot of different product categories. So what we're just trying to do is create a sense of familiarity when customers are searching on our site. We tend to have an older demographic, so we want to give them an instant comfort level. So we want to duplicate that search experience for them that they would have on any search engine or shopping site, giving them instant search results, most search for products, product images, everything to increase their comfort level, as well as finding the products that they're looking for. And this is all with the eye towards presenting a uniform search experience. So we make sure that our navigation and our refinements are all reflecting both the search parameters, all the attributes that we put into the products, because we have a lot of different attributes for our furniture and lighting, and making sure that it's consistent across both navigation and search. And so that consistency, I think, is a real important point. That would be our fifth point, really, is presenting that a real consistent user interface for search and navigation.
So another important point is to have an optimized search results page that really gives visitors many options by which to refine their choices. Certainly, in a case of a site with 50,000 products, the number of results that come back for a term like lamp or couch or bed are going to be huge. So giving people a breadcrumb trail, a sense of of how many results there are, that's a clue as to whether or not they need to use the faceted refinements or filters. Giving them the options here on the right-hand side to show 24 results to the page, or 48 or 96, or show it all. The other search suggestions that are related to the results that come back. This is a piece of functionality you'll see on Amazon and other sites. In this case, it's actually derived from the user behavior inside Carolina Rustica's site. There's a relationship between whatever the visitor searched for and uttermost tables and end tables and lamps and Tuscan. You as the merchant probably know what those relationships are, but we're figuring it out basically statistically. And then finally, showing the visitor a sense of where they've been already by showing recent searches can be a really helpful device to keep them on a consistent path towards purchase. And giving people refinement choices, in this case, category, manufacturer, price range. In the case of manufacturer, people might want to compare and contrast different manufacturers' offerings and compare and contrast different price ranges. So in this case, there's checkboxes that enable that. And you've got if you scroll down further on Richard's site, you'll see many other options because it is such a broad collection. Anything you'd add to that?
No.
And using banners to show that there in fact is free shipping. You just have to add a couple more items to your cart to get over $2,500. You have a fairly high average order value.
Yeah, $2,500.
So let's get it above average.
And we've tested that and raised it, and the AOV tracks the free shipping threshold, so that might be something for you to consider.
So in other words, an optimized search results page.
Right. The other thing is we don't know where the customer is in terms of their conversion funnel, if they're just searching for product information or if they just want to compare prices. So it's really important that we present them with the options to look for both. We've got video on the site, and in this example, we have, here we go. We've got a community link for Facebook posts, blog posts, Google+, et cetera. There we go. So the customer, when they're searching for a particular term or a particular item, they have the option of just going to the product themselves and getting straight to it and getting all the product descriptions and pricing. Or they can, if they're doing research, if they're in that point of their search and their buying process, they can look at video, look at what other people are saying, look at our blog posts, et cetera. So it's really important that you offer them a lot of different options because you don't know where they are in the conversion funnel. So our sixth point would be to offer a complete site search, not just products.
Thanks, Richard. And to Greg's points, video consumption is very heavily associated with conversion. One of the great ways to gain visibility for that video content is to make it directly available through the search results so that people can actually discover that you have product video or other promotional video on the site. So we've seen clients as much as triple their video views by virtue of putting a tab such that they can find videos, as Richard is. Have you seen any numbers around that, or?
Yeah, it's definitely increased, except we have a lot of call for pricing products, so it's a little hard sometimes to measure conversion like that.
Yeah.
Sure. So we also use search keywords to trigger marketing banners, not just marketing ourselves, of course, but marketing specific collections. So in this case, you see there's a promotional free shipping banner, which will appear on all searches. But this customer searched for a particular manufacturer, so we use SLI's technology to trigger a banner showing the most popular collection of that manufacturer, because 50% of them who are searching for ICO are actually looking for this particular collection. And so that's a great opportunity for us. And similarly, on the no results page, we use, if they're searching and we can't find an exact match, first we use a banner to present our unique selling proposition, and then we find the closest match to the manufacturer name, and then we also present most popular searches, or if they put in gobbledygook, it won't have any manufacturer name, and we'll have our most popular product. So we use every search opportunity that we can to promote both the company and the products that we sell and our own manufacturers, as well as promotions that we might have ongoing. So that would be the 7th tip, is use every opportunity you can to promote.
Great. So I'll skip past this, but the basic idea is that to enable our search to be built for your site, there's a Learning Search Connect that automatically pulls the data out of your site and feeds that to SLI for building a customized search experience like you saw with Carolina Rustica. Right. But the more important thing is the functionality you can get by using this.
Yeah, so this is a Magento specific extension that we are beta testing, where we're pulling all of the product data immediately out of the back end instead of FTPing it out and then drawing it down into site search, because they operate on two different URLs. It's pulling it right from the database itself. So any price change we make, any product change we make is reflected near instantaneously and lets us delve deeper into the data, which would be kind of our 8th tip, is use all the product data at your disposal, use all of the product attributes. We've heard a lot about original content. Obviously, that's important. We're guilty as much as anyone of using manufacturer information. We try and tweak it when we can. But certainly all the attributes there at your disposal, you need to include them both in search results. And in this case, we're linking to a sister site also owned by our parent company, using SLI as a bridge and all the shared technology there.
I think that's it, isn't it?
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. We'll be here for questions afterwards.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Yuri Fuchs. I'm president of Pixify. We are a Magento solution partner. We work with companies generally under $10 million in transactional revenue, and we are based in New York City. We're a team of about 35 people, 20 developers, and we really look at the entire domain of e-commerce instead of just building a solution and handing it off. So we work with about 85% of our clients post-launch in order to help them with training, with e-commerce consulting, with A/B testing, and one of the things that we're going to be talking about today are the 7 forgotten pages in Magento. So we all use Magento every day. We all know the capabilities and powers that it provides us. But we took a look at it in a bit of a different perspective. We took a look at what are the things that no one is talking about. And what we actually found was, if you look at the popular pages for your site based on the aggregated data, and what we found was this is our entire transactional portfolio, you'll find the pages that you're most familiar with on the left, right? So your home page, your category page, your checkout page, your shopping cart page. And then you fall into some pages that no one really talks about, but they're actually very much a presence of your online store. In fact, every page that I'm going to be talking about today, from our perspective, has over 10% page views. And these are things like your My Account dashboard, your order success page, your forgot password page, your logout page, and a couple of others that we'll be going into. And what's really interesting is that you can create some very unique branding and personalization opportunities to increase conversions through these web pages. So I'm going to start with the first one, which is the My Account dashboard page. And this is a typical scenario. A customer comes to your website and signs up. They actually are able to log in, and what they see is a very typically bland page. So it may only have on the left, your navigation, on the right, basically a bunch of blank information. And this is an amazing opportunity to start a relationship with your customer, right? You've actually got them to sign up. You've actually got them to go beyond the paywall, right? They're able to log in, and now you can actually create some custom opportunities for them. So here's an example of one of our clients, Inkshop. This is aesthetically, whatever you make of it, whether it's beautiful or standard or plain, this is a lot of what the experiences that customers have when they log in to the My Account dashboard, what they see. So we actually take a very simple approach, and this isn't anything earth-shattering, but you just use a coupon code, right? You just put a coupon code right there, 10% off your first or next purchase, coupon code welcome, and you'd be amazed at what loyalty this builds, because this is all about that positive feedback loop that you want to create with your customers. So the previous, presentations that we just saw talk about finding the information that you have, talk about optimizing your website, but this is more of a human element to it, right? We're all shoppers, we all compete in the same space, we all look at the same types of products, and what we really look for in brick and mortar stores, we can start to emulate those emotions online. So this is just a very simple example of what you can do to a My Account dashboard and just add a coupon code that just says, thanks for signing up. This is the next page. How many times have anybody here, raise your hand, gotten to the empty shopping cart page? All right, so quite a number of you, right? And this is just a frustrating experience because as a consumer, you don't know why you got there. You don't know whether you got there by an error. You don't know whether you got there because you were supposed to go there. But typically, the only thing that it says is, please click here to go back to your home page. Right? Again, this is kind of a fun little Easter egg that you can use. This is a great opportunity to showcase some of the featured products that you have. This is a great way to entice people to sign up for a newsletter, to sign up for some marketing materials, to just use some other feedback that creates, again, that positive experience. So again, we'll use Inkshop as an example. Very bland, very plain, not a lot of text. People think that, okay, I'm on this page, I just want to get off of it, but you can actually create an interaction here. You can start a dialogue, you can direct them into some area of your website that's more interesting, even though they may not have found it initially. So again, just a very simple example, adding a coupon code. Again, visually, you can make whatever you want of it. This is just a very simple banner that we added, empty cart, and you can actually start to track these things because of the unique coupon codes. You can actually see where people are landing, and then you can also funnel them into different places, which is actually really interesting. The order success page. This is one that people just completely forget about, but to me, this is the most exciting part of the entire e-commerce experience, right? If you think about it, you've gotten a customer to add a product, you've gotten them through the checkout process, they've given you their credit card information, and now they're just like, thanks for your order, number 1000102, right? And it's just like, all right, that's kind of boring. So this is a great way where you can build loyalty, where you can build repeat interactions, where you can tell them, hey, you added this product, but you forgot about this product. You'd be amazed at what little tweaks like this does, just visual language, text language, just opportunities to funnel people into the right pages. So again, the order success page, personally for me, is the most exciting part of the experience, and I would love to see more personalization around it. Now, I want to jump into some other pages. These are bonus tips, right, because we had 10, but now we have 12. And I'm going to talk about the first two, the forgot password and tracking information, and then a couple of other ones that are more social. So the forgot password page. Raise your hand if you have forgotten the password to a website. And if somebody doesn't raise their hand, then congratulations. But we have all done it, and it is the most frustrating experience. First, you spend about 5 minutes guessing every password that you ever use on every website. Then you reset your password. Then you get an email. Then you got to go to the email. Then you got to click on it. Then you got to get a new one. There's no way to really simplify it, right? Security just dictates that this is a complicated process. And by the time that you remember your password or you reset it, you're like, I don't even want to buy a product anymore. I'm just going to go somewhere else. And this is a perfect opportunity to use that human element, to use that interaction in rewarding the customer, saying, you know what, like we apologize that you forgot your password, right, that you just had this experience, but here's an opportunity to make it back up for you, right? And this is just something that you would be amazed at customer service, right? The emails that come through, just that little tweak, like, I can't believe that you gave me 5% off because I forgot my password. It takes such a negative experience that everybody in this room feels and turns it into a positive. And that's what we want to do with every single one of the transactions that are out there. The tracking information pop-up window, so I went around the office and we asked, what crazy things do you guys see on other websites? And this one was the most popular one of the entire staff. People actually love to see the status of where their product is. So often we go to the email, we copy and paste the tracking number, we go into Google, we click on the first result, and we get to UPS. You can use an exciting opportunity here to not only brand the pre-existing functionality that exists within Magento, because it's actually there, and a lot of people forget about it, so it's got the Magento logo or just the default functionality, but you can also add some more in-depth information as to how to actually get the status of your items. You can use some creative language, you can use some colorful charts, you can say like, what percentage of the order completion steps it's in, if it's in fulfillment, if it's being shipped, if it's delivery. Again, you want to get people off of FedEx.com, UPS.com, and onto your website to see some more information. Social, everybody's talking about social, everybody's, wants to share things on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, the list goes on and on. The public wish list. I've actually taken the time to personally curate what it is that I want, my friends, my family, my loved one to purchase for me, right? So I'm only going to send the link to people that I know, or the only people that are going to look at the link are people that actually want to spend money on me. So what better opportunity to actually reward those that want to satisfy my own needs, right? And you can do that by giving them sales, you can give them an introduction to the service, to the product, to the e-commerce experience. You can entice them, you can reward them. And by taking down that wall, right, by taking down that barrier that it's just a public wish list, you can actually get them to potentially be a customer of your own, right? If you're selling something that I want and I put it on my public wish list, and from that I share it with my friends, they probably have similar interests. And if they have similar interests, they may be a potential shopper. So turning kind of a bland experience of, okay, I'm gifting something to you into something that's a lot more exciting is the perfect opportunity, and from what we see in our portfolio, is actually one of the opportunities that is most often missed. And finally, even though we hate to talk about it, people do log out, right? People do log out of our website, whether it's on a public terminal, whether it's on a public computer. At the end of the day, somebody's got to log out. So make it fun. Make it an Easter egg, right? Say, look, we know you logged out, but when you come back next time around, here's something on the house, right? And it's actually a really, really fun and interactive way to just give somebody that aha moment, like, you know what, like I logged out of this website and I've never had that happen before. And this is what we did for one of our clients, Sugar Pova. It's Maria Sharapova's candy line, right? So we took a very bland page. It just says, you are now logged out. And you know what? Next time you just get 10% off some gummy bears. And you would be amazed, again, at how the conversion rates for things like this go through the roof, because it's something to talk about. It's like, I logged out of this website and now I get 10% off. So with a little customization, even the forgotten pages in Magento can be your best friends. And this is a very, very good opportunity for you guys to brand and find some more interactive ways to talk to your customers. Thank you.
Now you guys can see why we had a hard time trying to get this down to 10 tips. Pretty good stuff. And I guarantee that you'll make more money doing this stuff than playing craps upstairs.